I'm Tristan Mount.
I'm Jimmy.
I'm Sam.
I'm Roland.
And I'm Jamie.
So we're here at Rock City in a very warm dressing room, so it's all glamour, as always. So you were previously the Darling Buds, and you did some surprise shows in parks and things like that. So have you got any plans to do anything like that for Counterfeit, or are those been and gone now?
I think those will probably happen again at some stage. Right now it's sort of like, let's get to the next venue as quickly as possible so that we can play the show. We're pretty back to back with tour slots at the moment. But yeah, I think, there's potential to just rock up and play some shows. We're a full band now though, it's not like we can play acoustically. The songs won't really lend themselves well to an acoustic setting, so there's potential for police, there's potential for arrests, which quite frankly, I'm not so sure.
Because wasn't there a show that actually got shut down when you were at a friend's shop or something that you were promoting, and the police came and closed it? So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was when we announced the band. That's when the venue itself pulled out an hour before, because all these kids had turned up, and they called up management and they were like, "Yeah, you can't be here. What is this? What are you doing?" And so we were like, right, well, let's just go to this our mate's shop and set up a massive speaker and just play them a couple of the tracks and say hello. And then the 5-0 turned up, and all was good, all was well,
And what led to the name change and style change? Did you just get bored of it, or fancied a change?
Progression, really. Just progression. Like, we've been playing for a while. We'd kind of been doing it as a bit of a laugh. And we thought, let's take it to the next level. We weren't really playing the music that... Is that all good then? Yeah, we weren't really... the music now we're playing, we feel is a lot more truer to who we are as people. So it's just natural progression, really. And our old drummer stepped away because he was working. And the three of us that were playing in the band, Jamie, Tristan and I, we thought, right, well, let's give this 100% and take it to the next level. So Counterfeit was born, and here we are.
And I came to the show in December at Islington Academy. How was that? I mean, you ended up in the centre of the crowd, and was it your earbuds that got stolen from you or something?
I was so upset about that, wasn't I? I was not a happy boy about my... I remember swearing profusely at someone, going, "I'm not coming back until my earphones are here." I was saying, "Sassy Jay, behave yourself." Yeah, it was wicked. I think for all of us, we've all sort of... bar Sam, actually, my brother, we've all played on stage before in various capacities, but never as this band. So that was a terrifying show for us. That was it was a big show. It was 800 people, and we sold it out, and it was the first time a lot of these songs, any of the songs had ever really been heard. We were just like, let's go out there and just see how this is. And then I was like, all of a sudden, the moment I was on stage, I was like, this is how it's going to be. This is the bar. This is where we've got to go. And none of it was really planned. It just sort of happened, and now that's how we do it now. Jimmy, obviously, our drummer, stays in the same place most of the time.
Yeah, I'm just calm at the back.
And weren't your parents there as well? I think we're giving a shout out to your mum and dad. There's all these heads turning around to look, and they're waving. 'Cause, we stood at the back.
Yeah. Hello, Mum. You got that 20 quid I asked for?
So yeah, I'm sure it was a very proud moment for them. So then, with regards to preparing for a tour, how does that differ for you in terms of preparing for a film? Are there any big differences?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of big differences. I mean, I think for any sort of thing that I do with a movie, I'm a conduit for someone else's emotions and someone else's feelings. That by acting by its very nature, that's what it is. With this, it's very much me on stage with my best mates and my brother, who's also coincidentally my best friend. He's not just there for the hell of it. Saying how I feel. So it's a shorter process, I think, preparing for tour, in terms of having written the songs already, and then we just blast through them for 3 days. A lot of bands, I think, will probably end up getting to a stage where we do maybe 1 or 2 days rehearsal, and then we'll go back out. For us at the moment, we like to do 3 days, and then we go back out again. I've been writing since we finished the last tour, so we got 2 new songs for this tour. So really, I sort of sent them over to everyone. There's a lot of individual work that people do, I think, as well. I'm quite a stickler for sending the songs or sending the stems and saying, right, this is it. When we get in the room, whenever, a month down the line, sort of have it fleshed out a bit, and then we'll start taking it apart, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, and that over the last 3 days, we finished rehearsal yesterday, so over the last 3 days that's basically what we've been doing, is just like making sure that everything is, I think we only played the set like twice. Every other thing was just like, let's just blast through the 2 new ones.
And then, so you got this European tour lined up. Who would be the dream bands for you to tour with, either to be supporting you or for you to be supporting?
Love to play with Bring Me the Horizon. You know, like, it would be great, wouldn't it? All their fan stuff, and they're doing really, really well at the moment. So I guess that for me is a dream, to play with them.
Marmosettes, just I think, because they're just wicked.
Whoop whoop!
Just a wicked.
Whoop whoop!
Just
My boys!
mad cool band. Yeah.
I don't know, just any like big old punk bands, you know, like big shows, like big stages, you know, someone like Rancid or someone like that, you know.
I think maybe Biffy would be quite a cool
Yeah,
shout.
Biff would be great.
Yeah,
Great
I
shout.
think that'd be good.
Good one.
I'd like to go out on the road with Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
I got a tattoo by Frank a couple of, before we started this, before we were like, when we were in the studio, before we started touring. And we were talking about shows, and he was like, yeah, we come on the road with you. I was like, yeah, but you're going to make us look shit. So, so we'll, I swore, damn it. And so, yeah, I'd love to go out on the road with Frank, because I love Gallows growing up. I was a big fan of Gallows, and just a big fan of Frank in general, just his energy. And I love Pure Love. And then, obviously, when Rattlesnakes came out, I was like, fair, this sounds wicked. It's really gnarly. So, yeah, definitely Rattlesnakes.
So talk about the new single with Enough. There's some, hope you don't mind me saying, Muse and Marilyn Manson influences
Right.
running throughout it. Chance to plug the new single, really. What do you think? Any story behind it? Anything like that? Who wants to go?
I mean, the song originally, I write everything at home, and then we take it to the studio, and we flesh it out there. The song originally was about something completely different, and we were in the studio the weekend of the attacks on the Bataclan, and I felt horrified. All of a sudden, the idea of a malevolent presence and evil in general became very real for me. We were all very young when the attacks on the Twin Towers, 9/11 happened, and we were all still relatively young when the attacks in London happened. And it was all of a sudden, when those attacks happened in Paris, it became very apparent that could have been any of our mates. You know, each of us knows people who know somebody else who's either worked with or knew somebody who was there. And that's terrifying. That's a really terrifying prospect for an individual to have to deal with, I think. And so I felt as a writer that I couldn't really sit back and not say anything. So I wanted to address it in a manner that was, I suppose, respectful in some way, and at the same time as being just confused and angry. You know, it's born. I've said this in press before, and I'll say it again. You know, it's born out of one specific instance, but because I was made very much more aware of it in terms of emotionally aware. It's just a song about hatred and how unnecessary violence is within our world, and ignorance in general, and how we go out and we play shows, and there's a feeling of unification there, and there's just there seems to be this sort of, people just seem to be disconnected from each other, and you know, unnecessary violence only enhances that. So it's about that. You know, the Marilyn Manson vibe. Yeah, yeah, Marilyn Manson and Muse, definitely. I'll stick my hands up. You know, those are heavy influences on me. You know, the drum beat is very Marilyn Manson-esque in the way that it goes, in the way that it sounds. You know, we wanted it to be marchy, and that is a very marchy rhythm, and it's an old marchy rhythm. So we basically just wanted to make it loud. I remember when it was going into mastering, I kept on sending, when it was going to mix, I sent Mitch, who actually is in Rattlesnakes, he mixes our record. our records, and I kept on sending him texts being like, need it to be louder, need it to be louder, need it to be louder, bass louder, and he was like, I was like, yeah, just hoof it. Then it went to mastering, same thing again. Like we went through like maybe like 7 different mastering processes on it. That's kind of unusual. Like normally you go to the master session, you get like maybe like 1 or 2 or 3. 7 is a lot. So I felt a bit bad for everyone that we worked with on that, but I really wanted it to just be really loud. And we had Radio 1 play it on last night, which for us is a huge deal. Dan P. Carter put it on the rock show, and we were listening to it. And I sent him a message afterwards just being like, thank you so much, for playing the record. It means so much to us. And he's like, it sounded great amongst everything else. And that's so cool. Like, that's so cool for us. Just, we're just kids, we're kids from London, and that's madness to think that that's what people are listening to now. So yeah, Enough is the new single. It's sick. You should probably go and listen to it.
And any plans for an album in the foreseeable future?
Yeah, I'll let them voice.
Oh yeah, I mean, you guys have been in recording as we, Jamie was working pretty much, and the only chance these guys had to get in the studio was on Sundays. Yeah, Mondays, as we were just saying. Yeah. But yeah, it's been in the process. It's pretty much almost.
Probably,
yeah, almost there.
Probably got another sort of 3 or 4 songs to go, but we can't really do much until we get back from our June, July sort of tour and festival circuit. So realistically, we're probably looking at maybe December or later in the year, maybe even early next year for a release or something. So yeah.
I mean, we've tracked 11 songs for the record thus far, and we want another 5 to choose from basically. And I think we'll end up being a 10-track album. We just want it to be the best that it can be. We don't want to rush it, but we also understand that we've got this great tour and we've got all these great things going on, but then at the end of the day we need something to give to the people, because people nowadays, the way people receive music and the way people want it is they want it now and they want it quickly, and if you don't give it to them, they die out. So we'll probably sort of slip off the radar for a bit, if I'm honest. Play sort of pop-up shows here and there, maybe release a single, but then like December, January is like when we'll just be like, right, record's coming out, back out on tour, here it is in its entirety, and let people sweat for it a bit. Because that's what we want, at the same time as gaining new fans from playing these festivals and from doing the supports that we're doing.
Yep. I got some of the fan questions. I did censor quite a few of them. I picked a few out. So Gem Lullaby says, have you got a favourite track to perform live?
Mine, I think. Mine's Addiction. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Strong. Yeah. Washed Out for me. It's just nuts. Yeah.
Yeah,
fun.
Washed Out for me as
Yeah,
well.
to be Washed Out is my favourite to
Love
play
it.
live. It's just really punky and fast. Good fun.
My favourite's probably Enough, actually, at the moment. I tend to take my guitar off at the end of that song now and sack off playing guitar.
I'm bored of this now.
Yeah, exactly. This is the end of the set. We've been playing for an hour. Come on, we all want to go home. This also signals the end of the show.
And then Team Counterfeit US have said, what's the best way for fans that are too far away to attend the shows to support you?
Spread the word online. I know we've got lots of people in different countries doing street teams, counterfeit street teams and stuff, just telling their friends. That's how I heard about music. Friends would show me and I'd get into it. And buying t-shirts. I guess we now have just launched a merch store online, so that helps if you can't get to a show, can't fly over.
If you want to spend money on us. I think the best way for them to support the band is just keep doing what they're doing. It's amazing that we've got this support from people overseas, and we're so grateful for that. The best way to support the band is just tell your mates. Really, that or illegally graffiti around your local town or province, depending on where you reside.
Tell your mum.
Tell your
I
mum.
remember the first time I heard about Tyler the Creator was from my mum being like, have you seen the video of this man, eating a cockroach? I was like, oh no, what's this? I was like, oh yeah, this is quite cool. So yeah.
And this is possibly my favourite question ever. In my 15 years of interviewing, I'm wondering why I haven't asked it. Why don't they smile? I know the rock music business is serious, but let us know you're having fun. And that comes from the wonderfully named Cats, Tats and Bikes, who I can assure you they have been smiling a lot throughout this. So why don't you smile?
That's amazing. I mean, Crikey, Bill. I think, you know, for us, the music, the message that we're trying to portray in the music is, you know, it's one of a very sort of personal journey that I've been through, and I think that everyone goes through. It doesn't really lend itself well to being all like, hey, we're, you know, aren't we fun dudes, you know? Yeah, sort of pop punky. It's more like, right, you know, like this is the music, and as much fun as it would be for us to smile and all that kind of stuff, at the end of the day, we kind of want the music to speak for itself. So I think in a sort of like backhanded way, it's like, yeah, we love having pictures taken and we love doing what we do, but at the end of the day, we're not selling our image, we're selling our music. So
Your next photo shoot.
Yes, stone-faced killers. We're actually all killers. Convicted, some of us. It's anyone's guess as to who it could be.